Back once again with Ethan Forman of the Gloucester Times to talk all things Gloucester and Cape Ann. He's always on the go and he's got to leave shortly, so we're going to make this quick. Ethan, how you doing?
Hey, good, Kory. I owe you an apology because you were on a live shot for the Open Doors groundbreaking,
Yeah.
and you were on a live shot, and was just going to come up to you and shoot the breeze.
hmm
Sorry about that, yeah, but that is the risk of live streaming. I
My
just
one
wanted to say
hour show ruined by Ethan
it
Forman.
was true.
No, I wanted you to shoot the breeze with me.
Yeah,
You're always, if you see
next
me with
time.
an iPhone, come up and talk to me.
I just
Excellent,
want to
excellent.
point out how many ribbons are being cut right now. I can't even keep track of them. Bruce
Oh,
Tar
yeah.
is everywhere cutting ribbons, and so are you guys.
Yeah, the ribbon store is thriving right now.
Right, exactly.
So is the
shovel
giant
store.
scissor store.
The
Yeah.
The giant
Yeah.
shovel store.
Yeah, right. That too.
Yeah.
Okay, so right off the top, Ethan, summertime is upon us now, and we just got word about news on outdoor dining for downtown Gloucester.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. It kind of came late in the cycle. I think the warm weather caught everyone by surprise. But in May, the city council began to, and Val Gilman, the council president, began to talk about, we need an outdoor dining program. You would think that's kind of a no-brainer, but the pandemic's a little bit on the wane. The numbers I've seen have been down. But you would have thought this would be in place. It kind of, I don't know if it fell through the cracks or anything like that. So she brought this to planning and development. The idea is that you need a special permit before the zoning board of the city council to do the outdoor dining, and that's a long process, and you have to jump through a lot of hoops. So it's temporary relief. It's a temporary order due to the pandemic, to provide restaurants the ability to do outdoor dining downtown. It's really great. It's a big hit. If you go to Salem, for instance, the Jersey barriers that they use have all been painted and decorated. Portions of New Derby Street are, the parking there. They have a long line for Bambolina, other restaurants, and it seems to work okay.
I know it sounds like you're saying that Salem does it better than Gloucester, Ethan.
No, I think the difference in Salem is I think the parking, they do have like some parking garages downtown.
Yeah, because parking's the big issue, right?
And then for Salem, the issue becomes one in October. The
Right.
city becomes Halloween Disney World.
Yeah.
So I'm not comparing Salem, but I do see what we do. So they came before the city. The order came before the city council. Val Gilman's order came before the city council. The planning board had made some recommendations, some restrictions, made some conditions that the planning board had wanted lunch and dinner served. Well, the idea is that if a restaurant wants to take up a parking space, they should be serving lunch and dinner. Planning and Development Committee, chaired by Jason Grow, didn't feel that the restaurants would take advantage of the outdoor dining if they had to offer lunch. It's late in the season, so they have to staff up for it. And I don't know how many fine dining establishments are going to be offering lunch. That's tricky because you have lunch, and then you have this kind of lull.
Mhm.
And
Right.
you have to keep staff on.
But could you explain why the retailers were sort of saying these places don't even serve lunch? Basically, I'll say it. They were saying they take up all this parking, and that parking can't be used during the day, and they don't even serve lunch, right?
Yeah, I think that was the, I'm going to get his name wrong. The former city council was councilman who does the weather vane. Owns the weather vane, was making
Joe
that point.
Scialino.
Joe Scialino. So I think Joe was making that point. Either him and Adam Farber were also talking.
Mark Adrian shoes.
Mark
Yeah.
Adrian, yeah. So the idea is, so the planning board wanted the restaurants to do lunch and dinner, and the planning and development felt that that would be too restrictive. There's probably not a lot of restaurants that are going to be doing this, and so I think they felt that if they tried to do this, it would kill the program altogether. Now remember, this is throughout Gloucester. I mean, this isn't just the downtown. Restaurants might want to do outdoor seating in other parts of the city. But and I think the other thing they were talking about that was coming out, the planning and development realized you couldn't maybe make a section of Main Street for several different restaurants because they have several different liquor licenses. You have to control under the liquor license. It gets very confusing. You have to be able to control who your patients are going in and out. this is what has sort of kept outdoor dining down, because there was a lot of restrictions about having physical barriers. You know, when you have a liquor license, you have to be able to control the serving. There's very strict rules around this.
Yeah.
So the planning development said, hey, we want to just let them offer dinner, let them do outdoor dining. But the retailers were upset. They're like, you know, we don't think that we don't want to look at like dead parking spaces all day. We leave our shops and then they activate. And they were trying to make the point. I think it was Ward 2 Councilor Tracy O'Neill had made the point during planning and development that, hey, this could activate the shops at night. Now, if you go to like South Beach, right? If you go to any sort of more heavily tourist cities, the shops open late. The shops are open late. The gift shops are open late, but it's not going to work, and it may not work in Gloucester. It's just not. People aren't just going to be coming downtown. So they're just recovering from the pandemic. I think the bookshop, Dogtown Books, was making the point, we're just recovering out of the pandemic. You have the ability to staff up until 9 o'clock. So the retailers are kind of caught. It's like, they don't think that the dining, the evening dining is going to bring patrons into their shops, and they're going to see a bunch of spaces be taken
during the
up.
day. Yeah. So when they are open, that's what I understood the Dogtown Bookshop was saying very clearly, that they lost a lot of business during COVID because of the outdoor dining that was taking up a certain amount of parking spaces.
Yeah.
But those restaurants weren't even open, inviting people downtown when they were open.
And then the other thing that that I think she said, Carolyn Harvey, so she was saying, I lost summer customers. You know, they summer in Gloucester. They couldn't park near the shop. They didn't come in. They lost business.
Right.
So these are very real concerns. But on the flip side, restaurants can, you know, take advantage of people's reluctance to dine inside. I am very reluctant to dine inside. I had COVID at the start of May, and I'm very afraid of it still. You know, I don't know, again, it's a scientific talk here, but I'm very afraid of it. So very reluctant to dine.
No, I agree. And I think I'm reluctant also. And
so, the summer is like an opportunity for me. I'm thinking I can dine outdoors and grab a seat. And so there was also a discussion that was very interesting about how they were going to do the occupancy. So if you have a 100-seat restaurant, originally what they wanted to do was, if you have a 100-seat restaurant and you want 20 seats outside, not tables, but seats, you're going to have to subtract that from your indoor occupancy. And Councilor Worthley was like, that doesn't make sense. And in the end, I think they realized that putting it in the zoning article doesn't make sense either. You know, that's going to be worked out with the building inspector. You know, the building inspector might say, yeah, you can have this many seats. And if it rains, this many people could come in theoretically. You know, so Councilor Worthley was counting on sort of common sense. So they got rid of their the requirement that you have to take away seats from indoors if you put them outdoors. So it became it's a less restrictive process. They're going to process the applications online. And then I think there was also mentioned, I didn't put this in the story, but I think the liquor license, I think Melissa Shara Prince was talking about having a one-night session to approve these temporary outdoor licenses. It's very, very complicated thing to do. It's late in the season. Hopefully the retailers hang on and people and the restaurants get some good business.
Well, and the other wild card too is we're assuming good weather. Remember last July, it rained like 24 out of the 31 days, or it was ridiculous. So tough to navigate for everyone running a business these days. Okay, Ethan, another big story you had this week was a price adjustment through CADA.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I mean, I've looked at CADA's maps for stories. It was hard to figure out like what anything. There's 2 zones, and it's, there's an extra fee if you're coming from Rockport. It doesn't make sense. So what they eventually want to do is they want to make mobile ticketing. In order to do that, it's much better if you have a single fare. So they eliminated the price, essentially the price for the fare zone, which eliminates the extra. So now it's $1. one way on the CATA bus. And then the reduced fare was like, it was like 60 cents. Now they lowered it to 50 cents for the reduced fare. Kind of makes it simpler. I mean, having to handle that kind of money, 60 cents, so they just reduced the zones for paratransit rides. Now you might think, well, 50 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, it adds up, if you have to do this every day. So it is so they're hoping that in people saving money, they'll take more rides. I mean, what a deal. This is a great resource.
It's an amazing deal. It really is. And I keep saying I should do that because it seems to be super efficient. Those buses are going around all the time. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I think they might benefit by having more visible stops and maybe some signage around that says, hey, you can get from here to here. You don't take your car. I'd like to figure out their route system. If I wanted to go somewhere, I'm right on Washington Street, and maybe it's an opportunity for me. Now, the Stage Fort Park shuttle, I'm working on a story, just a small story about the Stage Fort Park shuttle. That's going to be starting this week.
Okay.
Where does that go?
And that's going to go, yeah.
Where?
That's the trolley that goes for Stage Fort Park, and then it goes to the Good Harbor Bridge. And then it goes out to around the back shore, and it'll go through Rocky Neck. So maybe the advantage, if you're coming from out of town and you park at Stage Fort Park,
and you get
you get a reduced rate. It's cheaper. It's like $5 cheaper, and you can hop on the shuttle and go to Good Harbor. So Good Harbor sells out. You know what I'm saying? But you can still get into Stage Fort.
Right.
Stage Fort. You save a little change, and you get on the trolley, and then you could. I think they're selling us like $3. It's hop on and hop off. So
a person.
Yeah. So you just spend a day in Gloucester, and you ride this trolley around it's going to go down Main Street, Roger Street. So I think that's exciting. So they lower their fares. I mean, and everyone's dealing with high gas prices.
Right.
Maybe this amenity it's something that we all should explore and use.
I agree. And I'm delinquent in not doing that so far.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for that, Ethan. Also, do you want to get into the signage grant that's going on right now? Or it's about forgive me for being remiss. I was late in getting the news of this grant out, but tomorrow, Friday is the application deadline. It's not a long application. So if you want to beautify your lighting or your awning or your signage, and you're a business in Gloucester, fill it out. They got 18 grants, $5,000.
A piece. A piece?
Yeah, a piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
$5,000.
serious signage.
Yeah, I think a lot of businesses want to spruce up. It's not going to be $5,000, but it does go toward what they need to do. And just go on the Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce's website. The application is right there. You can't miss it. It's like the banner right there, right under the headline. It's worth looking into. Again, it's free money from the city.
Okay, Kory, who has the prettiest sign in Gloucester?
I can't say that.
It's 1623.
I can't say that either. Yeah.
It's 1623 Studios.
It could very well may be. But
I didn't ask you who has the worst sign. I was just going to say who.
I can't answer either one. I can't pick a favorite child, Heather, or my least favorite.
That's true.
Hey, lastly, Ethan, do you want to get into this big fish that got caught?
Wait, I learned a lot about fishing yesterday. Mike Mann called us up.
Yeah, I know, Mikey.
Brought in a 200-pound halibut. Now, I don't know. Now, I've been watching Wicked Tuna.
Yeah.
So I'm an expert.
Of course.
And they're landing fish much bigger than that, but apparently that's a big deal. Now the draggers, the big fishing fleets, big boats, they'll bring in halibut. You're only allowed one above 41 inches, going to measure 41 inches. One, but it could be they bycatch, it could be, so they get one. It's not unusual. Fisherman's Wharf, Nick Giacalone,
Mhm.
told me, well, they get maybe 4 or 5 of those a year, and they range in 80 to 150 pounds. But they went on a fishing trips overnight Sunday into Monday, and one of the guys with a 1980s rod wasn't fishing for who knows, hooked this. And Mike Mann saying the guy's like, he thought he got a rock, so they fought it for Mike Mann took over, and they fought it for an hour, and they pulled up this, like, he said it was probably about 190 pounds. And then they have to prepare it and put it on ice. So it was about 100 and it was over 160 pounds.
Yeah, dressed. Yep.
And that's pretty cool. I think landing something like that with a rod and reel, it's kind of unheard of. So it made a great picture, and it made a great story.
Who gets
And
those
Mike,
steaks?
huh?
Who gets those steaks? Where are they going?
The people, there was not, he said there were like 9. It's not just like they went like a few hours offshore. They went all the way up to Philippines.
Yeah. There's a big overnight thing that they did, a marathon deep sea fish.
Yeah.
It's like, what, 60 miles?
Yeah, it's a haul out there.
Yeah. So the idea is that, it's not something you can just do, on a whim. So
He's filling a freezer with halibut, right?
the gentleman got it, the rest of the guys that were on the boat, because that's a big deal. What an exciting time that must
Yeah.
have been to
Wow,
pull up that
that's
fish.
amazing.
That's a lot of tacos this summer for those
Yeah,
guys.
right.
All right.
I love
Awesome stuff
halibut.
as always, Ethan. We appreciate your time, and we will see you this time next week.
All right, I gotta swim. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.